Well, people, when they're going to be out there should be on
Okay, oh God, don't say, no.
מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אחסר, בנאות אשר ביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב, ינחני במגלי צדק, ינחני במגלי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא אירא, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, אדוני רואי לא אחסר.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thank you to Cantor Rosenbaum and Rabbi Jacobs for starting our service. Today we gather to share words of praise, of thanks, of honor, and of love as we recall with great affection Marcia Schindler, known to her grandchildren as Nanny, a beloved daughter, a beloved sister, a beloved wife, a beloved mother, a beloved grandmother, a beloved great-grandmother, a beloved aunt, a beloved great-aunt, cousin, and friend. And though it is difficult to say goodbye to such a special woman, today is a celebration of life, a life well lived, for a truly remarkable person. She was one of a kind, as we say, a gutta neshama, a good, loving spirit, who lived life to the fullest with her smile, her laugh, her grace, her beauty, and kindness. Today we extend our deepest condolences to Marcy's family, to her children, to Mark and Angela, to Jill, to Paul and Marnie, to the apples of her eye, the ones who made her nanny, her grandchildren, Alexa and Andrew, Daniel, Lindsay, Milo, Mallory, and Nicole, and the diamond in her crown, her great-granddaughter, Madison, Maddie, to nephews and nieces, extended family and friends. We know that now she rejoins her beloved Ozzy, her partner in life. She joins her sister Joan, her parents Rose and Ben, and all those who have gone before her in their eternal home. Marcy left this world during the opening days of Pesach, Passover, the time when our families gather around the Seder table and recount the story of the Exodus, celebrating our miraculous redemption and freedom with a festive meal. Pesach was Marcy's holiday, when the entire family would gather in Florida, when Ozzy would lead the Seder. And Marcy was the matriarch, the queen of the ball, orchestrating, felling, hosting, celebrating with her full table, encircled by all those that she loved, not just family, but friends she and Ozzy had made and collected. Today the rabbis caution us, today is not a day to be overly sad, for it is a holiday. And so it is for us. Yes, we're saddened by the loss of such a beautiful, caring woman, but today we are able to celebrate her life. And just like on Pesach, when we open up the Haggadah and retell our people's story, today we gather to share and retell the story of our beloved Marcy. And to do that, we're going to call up her children and her special caregiver, Teresa. First, we'll call up her son, Paul.
Thank you all for being here. It means a lot. The past few days have shown me that when I need help, my family and friends were there above and beyond what I could ever imagine. So thank you. Well, Mom is now reunited with Dad. I could actually see them right now, holding hands, smiling, looking down on us. My dad, at gatherings, he would like to say how people came from near and far. So I'm pretty sure I know what he's saying to my mom right now. And I'm going to say it in my dad's Austrian accent and a hand gesture so you truly can feel what it was like growing up with my dad. Here it goes. Marcy, look, people came from near and far to see you. That's what he's saying. I'm pretty sure. My mom had a superpower. She made people feel special and good, no matter what their circumstances. I think I speak for us all. Every one of us, we all have our own crap that's going on with us. And what was amazing about my mom is being with her always felt like just a much needed escape from all that, even if it was just for a moment. I've seen the faces of people, whether they were just meeting her for the first time or have known her forever. I feel that in her presence, people just felt a little piece of heaven. Just like, almost like they were in a sanctuary where just like calm just washed all over their body. It just, she just had a very pleasant, calming effect. From personal experience, whenever I was, let's just say I was stressed at work or upset about something or just feeling down, I'd give her a call, and it always worked. She always lifted me. This is important. Mom's love and respect, it had no bounds. It didn't matter if you were prime minister of a country. It didn't matter if you happened to be the guy that was, taking the trash out of her hospital room. It just didn't matter. Your race, religion, political beliefs, gender identity, none of that mattered. Just everyone was treated exactly the same. Exactly the same. And it was just really refreshing because especially in this, current chaotically charged world, is just a real nice escape from all that. And don't take my word for it. Ask around. I feel she just really made a difference in people's lives. When I close my eyes and think about her, she had just the most pleasant, sweet face and loving smile. It's just so nice. I'll carry that with me forever. I could close my eyes and just see it and just feel so good. And I feel that same sweet face and smile just brought comfort to everyone around her. It's really rare to find someone that no one has anything bad to say about. My mom was one of those rare souls. Just one more thing before I go. Sorry, I need a moment. Mom, she lived without judging anyone. She didn't judge people. She had no prejudices against anyone. This has had a profound impact on me. And it's going to continue to inspire me always. God bless you. I love you. I miss you. Thank you, Mom, for everything.
And our next speaker is Marcy's daughter, Jill.
I'm standing here today feeling lucky to be the daughter of the most amazing mom to have graced this earth. My mom was defined by love, strength, elegance, kindness, generosity, and optimism. She was smart and beautiful. She was fun and funny. She refused to be negative and always focused on the positive aspect of any situation. She had a love of life, and I believe that is what sustained her all of these years. When she began painting again about 20 years ago, she titled one of her first pastels, "Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries." She did not mean that sarcastically. She actually wanted to define and describe life as a happy, sweet, enjoyable, and carefree time filled with beautiful and good things. This state of mind is something she shared with everyone in her orbit. She loved all those she cared about unconditionally and without judgment. She honestly did not have a mean bone in her body. One of the many life lessons she taught me was to always be prepared, a Girl Scout motto. This could manifest itself anywhere from a serious situation to a simple, everyday scenario. One summer, my mom decided that she wanted to drive with Alexa, Lindsay, and me to Niagara Falls for vacation. This was before cars had navigation systems. So instead, my mom made sure that we had a brown grocery bag filled with every triptych possible from AAA, printed MapQuest directions, and every map from Cleveland to Niagara Falls. As if this might not be sufficient, we weren't even out of her garage yet when she called OnStar to ask them for directions from Cleveland to Niagara Falls. The woman on the phone politely asked my mom if she wanted her to stay on the phone with us the entire ride. Alexa, Lindsay, and my mom broke into laughter. And I said, I think we got this, since we actually had every possible written direction to get us to our destination. It's really hard to imagine life without my mom. I spoke with her twice a day, every day. She was my best friend. She was my biggest fan. She was my mom. She used to say to me, when I'm no longer here, just remember everything I've ever told you. So that has reminded me of something Winnie the Pooh said to his best friend Piglet. And I quote, "If ever there is tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I'll always be with you. Mom, thank you for everything. I will carry your love with me always, and I will strive to live my life in a way that would make you proud. I hope that you are with Dad and at peace, knowing the wonderful legacy you both created through your children, your grandchildren, and your great-granddaughter, Maddie. Rest easy, my beautiful mama. I love you always and forever."
And we'll hear next from Marcy's devoted caregiver, Teresa.
Hello, everyone. I just want to first give honor to God, who is truly the head of my life. And I just want to say that for the many, many, many years and time that I spent with Marcy, never heard a negative word and never heard her complain. She never asked for anything, I guess because we always gave it to her. Marcy had a spirit of a person that if the world had the same spirit and heart that Marcy had, this world would be magnificent. I'm very saddened. There's a big void in my life when it comes to not having Marcy. Marcy was known for, everyone would know this, she would say, hoo-hoo. Everybody would catch on. We go to the hair salon. Hoo-hoo. Everybody would say, hoo-hoo. So this last place where she lived, called Ashton of Mayfield Heights, she even had the residents. They would see her coming, they'd go, hoo-hoo. And so that was a trademark. I don't know where Marcy got that from. But one thing I can say, she never, ever, ever, never had anything negative to say about me. I learned from Marcy, and Marcy learned from me. There's places that I had never gone, and same with Marcy. One day, I used to share with Marcy about the church that I belonged to. She said, I want to join your church. I said, Marcy, you gonna get me put out the family. can't join my church. So she was serious too. She was so funny. And she was very articulate. She wanted everything to be just so. And how I recognized that when I first met her, first of all, she told me, she said, I can't hire you because you look like a model. You're not gonna be able to do my work, to work for me, do my meds. So I just asked her, I said, Marcy, just give me an opportunity. I went from 4 hours, 1 day a week, to 7 days, 24 hours. That's how much time I spent with Marcy. She called me Terrific Teresa, and I called her Marvelous Marcy. So I wanted to say this. If you can imagine riding on a train, Marcy was her own conductor, truthfully. And as I look out there and I see each and every one of you at one time was a passenger on her train. Sometimes you got off for whatever reason. But she drove that train really slow. She was not a fast-moving person. She wasn't like that. So now I just want to say that, and looking at and remembering Marcy, remember that everyone has a train. And remember that now Marcy has driven that train, and now she's on a jet. She's taken off to another place. And guess what? She did not have to put on a seatbelt. I knew that Marcy would be safe in making her flight to heaven. One thing Marcy used to always say, "Oh, I think I'm ready to go." I said, "Marcy, you can't go. Heaven's not ready for you yet." And then she would say, I said, "Ozzy, he's going to scoot over and make room for you, though." So she said, "Ozzy always carried an ink pen." My father always carried an ink pen. So Marcy said, "They're probably up there just messing up those clouds with those ink pens." She said, "When I get up there, I'm going to get them. I'm going to fix them." They're not going to be painting on those clouds with all those ink pens. I just want to say it's going to be a big, big void in my life. And I want to thank the Schindler family for allowing me to take care of your mom. And I just want to say that I don't expect for you all to ever forget me. I love you all, and thank you very much.
And our final family speaker is Mark.
Thank you, Rabbi. I had a big eulogy planned. I was going to talk about something that is very characteristic of Mom, what I would call an abundance mindset. And I still think that there's a lot to be said about that, but I think that Paul and Jill and Teresa actually covered that subject very well. So I'm actually glad that last night I started to think about this a little bit and decided that what I want to talk about instead is something that is part of a unique bond that she and I shared, which is a love of art, both viewing art, going to museums, and also making things of beauty. I would say that Mom, I think you've all seen her paintings and seen what she's accomplished artistically, but I think she has a true artist sensibility, which I think has influenced me quite a bit. And I think there are maybe three parts of that, three aspects of that. One is sort of the obvious part, is just the practice of making art, paintings in her case, and just the joy that comes with that. And I think she really, it was an aspect of her life that was almost like a separate space that she would go into when she was creating. And it didn't just start. She really started doing it after Dad died. Really, she was in her mid-60s when she started doing all this pastel painting, which is kind of extraordinary when you see what she's accomplished. But it goes way back. She studied art when she was in college, art education, studio art, and even when we were growing up, she always had some kind of craft projects going. I remember she did decoupage for a while, so she was decorating things. But I think that's only one aspect of it. I think there's also, underlying that is a kind of an artist's way of looking at the world. And I think that way of seeing the world, the artist's way, involves a certain kind of patience. I like the way you put it, Teresa, that she kind of took things slowly. It's a non-judgmental way of looking. It exercises curiosity about the world more than judgment. And it's just a way of taking your time, particularly when in the presence of beautiful art or beautiful objects. Every time I came to Cleveland in the later years, oftentimes with my son Milo, we would, whenever she was able, go to a museum, typically the Cleveland Museum. And instead of trying to see all kinds of galleries or try to move quickly through the museum, we would typically just go and see one room. Maybe there was a special exhibit, which she would always be interested to see. She was always curious about what was new or what was happening. But the standby that we could always count on was that she would love to go see her favorite, the Impressionists, and Monet in particular. And Cleveland has a beautiful, we haven't seen it, It's definitely worth a trip. They have a beautiful water lily painting from Monet. And we have lots of pictures of us, and Teresa was a huge part of this because, first encouraging her, coming with us, and making that trip possible, because physically it was not easy for her to do. A lot of times it was not comfortable even to be in the van, in a wheelchair van, to get there. So it was a big production. But we had such wonderful times. I really treasure those moments, the four of us, really, in the museum. And there's a way, when you look at a painting, or really any kind of work of art, there's almost a physical relationship to the painting where there's something that's on the wall, and then we, in our case, the four of us, we're all together. So we're kind of side by side looking at something. And it sets up a kind of conversation that's very hard to have otherwise, where we can say, we can talk about, what do you see in that? Do you find it beautiful? Why? Does it inspire you? What does it make you think of? And those are wonderful conversations. That kind of conversation couldn't happen without that artist sensibility that Mom has and that she brought to all of us in those interactions. And it's really just an opportunity to just be there together, be happy looking at things together. There's a third part of this artist sensibility, which is a little bit harder to describe. I might call it a way of arranging the world around you and even within you in an artistic way. And she, I think about the way she set up her house with very much help from Teresa to, really her partner in this, but it's a beautiful space. When you walk into her apartment, it could only be Marcy's apartment. It's just with her work, but just you get a feeling that you're in a special place and you're connected with her in that way. And I think that we can think of it as a way to appreciate beauty, a shared way to appreciate that. But it's also, I think, a way for her to share things that she loves and that she appreciates with all of us, with her friends and family, and even people who she's just met, as Paul pointed out. This has been a huge influence on me, and I think on my son Milo, who now, he lives in New York, but will regularly hear, almost on a weekly basis, that he just went down to the Metropolitan Museum or the Whitney or some other institution there, and I think that that's something that he took from his grandmother and is kind of taking that forward. So there's this kind of way of looking at things and appreciating things really has, it really expands and it follows, I think, to all of us. So I think I have to say that I'm just grateful for her gift to all of us, and I want to thank her for sharing this outlook, this very almost this sense of wonder and this almost childlike, in a good way, innocence with us. Also, I think something very rare in this world. So, Mom, I love you. And I want to thank you for showing us how to live an artful life in our own way.
Following the burial, the family will be gathering at the Ashton for an open house and a celebration of life beginning at 2, and anyone is encouraged there to share their own reflections. Family knows not everyone's able to make it this afternoon and has asked if anyone else would like to share a tribute to Marcy. You're welcome to at this moment. We'll leave the mic open for a moment if anyone wants to come up.
Good morning. First of all, when I met Marcy, she won me over immediately with that beautiful smile And of course, the woohoo. And so I never forget this time when I told her, she said, "How old are you?" And I said, "Why you say that?" She said, "You look kind of young." I said, "I'm 48. She said, "Oh, no way." So, and as Teresa said, she never complained. Never asked for anything. Well, you know what? One time she did. One time she did. She says, "Beautiful, woohoo." I come in the room and I say, "What's wrong? Come here. Can you give me some more of that white stuff from my coffee?" It's like, what white stuff? Sugar? She was like, "Shh." Point to the camera. I was like, "Are we sneaking?" She said, "Creamer." I said, "Oh." So we're sneaking extra creamer in the coffee. "I'll be back, I'll get it." So she did have her way with me, and I'm sure with everybody else. Yeah, but Marcy, she was a great, great woman. And she loved Hallmark. And I think I know why. It was some very nice looking men on there. And I would ask her, "Are you looking at those guys?" And she would say. And so I said, "I love you, Marcy." She said, "I love you too, beautiful cakes." And she loved Jilly Willy. Jilly the Willy. Terrific Teresa. She loved her grandkids. She loved you guys a lot. I know you guys' name before I even met you guys. So it was a pleasure and an honor of you guys sharing her with me. It really was. And I want to say this to my Auntie Teresa. She was phenomenal. When I tell you I've never met anyone so grateful for having her taking care of your mom, your grandmother. I've been in the health field for a long time myself, and I haven't seen anyone better than this lady, even myself, and I'm good. But she took excellent care of your mom, excellent care of your grandmother, excellent care. From the time I've met Marcy to the days of her transitioning, I was there as well. So I got all my kisses, because we always had kisses. And when I leave, I never tell her, I never just leave. I just always say, "Okay, I'll see you later." So I want you guys to know that this is not a goodbye. This is a see you later. Okay? So, yeah. All right, love you guys.
Good morning. I'm Bruce, one of Aunt Marcy's nephews, and I might have COVID. So. You've all heard how sweet Aunt Marcia was. I was trying to come up with a metaphor for her. She reminded me of a Tootsie Pop. Sweet, completely sweet, but when you needed it, there was this hard sweet on the outside and a soft sweet on the inside. And I will tell you a quick anecdote on each of those. On the hard sweet outside, 45 years ago, our grandmother died, who was Marcy's mother. and I was in charge of handling the estate. And I was kind of butchering it. And Marcy, in the sweetest, most gentle way, told me that I was completely full of soup. And of course she was exactly right. And I cleaned up my act, and I finished the rest of the work I was doing in a way that would honor the sweetness in which she delivered the tough news that I was really messing up. On the sweet, soft inner part, though, you heard extensively today about how much she loved art, whether it was viewing it or painting it. And 10 years ago, my family and I took a trip, and we sent Aunt Marcia. She always loved to see our photos. I would do a little show for her, and Teresa would run the computer and show her all this stuff, because she had a lot of strengths, but technological advancement was not one of hers. But anyway, there was a picture of our daughter looking like she was being kissed by an 1,100-pound elephant seal. And Marcy was just enchanted by that, and she just casually said, "Oh, could you send me a copy of that?" Which I did. And then, just as a complete surprise, she did a beautiful, beautiful painting of it. And gave it to our daughter as a memory of the trip. And you heard about our apartment is full of all kinds of beautiful artwork, but that one remains my favorite. So to the sweetness of Aunt Marcia, that hard sweet outside when I needed it, and that soft, mushy inner part when I needed that as well, I love you, and I will miss you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Denise. I worked with Marcy, I would say, for about 15 years. And I had back surgery 9 years ago, and that's when I stopped working with Marcy. But I just want to say, like everyone say, just echo what everyone says, she was a wonderful person. I love Marcy, and I know she loved me also. And, we'd have party at my house, and Marcy been there. Marcy been there. And celebrated also with her when you guys threw her, I believe it was her 80th birthday. It was wonderful. I also remember going with Marcy and you all to, I believe it was some hospital she was dedicating something, and I have a picture also. And I also have one of Marcy's painting at my house that she gave me. I just want to say to Mark, Jill, Paul, and your spouses, and all the grandchildren and great-grandchildren, my deepest condolences to you and your family. And I just pray that the God of peace will comfort you in this difficult times. Today you have everyone with you. And it's all right, but there's going to be a time when you're all by yourself and that emotion is going to hit you. But I just pray that God will comfort you through this. He said he's close to the brokenhearted, and he will see you all through. I love you all so very much, and I wish I was seeing you guys under different circumstances, but it's all right. And like everyone says, Marcy's at peace, and we'll carry her, the love we have for her, in our heart. Thank you for letting me share.
Hello, everyone. As some of you may know, I was a caregiver for Marcy for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And one, I want to say thank you, Teresa, for the opportunity, because you introduced me to Marcy, and I can't thank you enough for that. And to the family and grandchildren, it was a pleasure meeting you all. And thank you all for giving me the opportunity to work with her, grow to know her, love her, and cherish each and every moment we got to spend. I told Marcy, I said, I took care of my grandfather to his passing day, and I got out of caregiving. I said, but something, when Teresa mentioned her to me, I got back in caregiving. Because, you know, caregiving is not just, it's not what it's not just a word. It's really something you truly have to have a passion for, and you have to have the patience for. And I've been in the caregiving field over 15 plus years, before I was even certified to care for people. But it was always a passion. It was always something I enjoyed doing. And we created great memories. We did. And she grew to love my children, too. And she was a beautiful soul. She loved art. It'll be days and times she don't want to get out of bed. But I just always pushed her and gave her that encouragement, like, you can do it. You can do it. And she'd be like, woo. She'd say, I think I'm ready. I said, that's what I like to hear. So I get her up, we'll go in the art studio, and every time we went in there, it was never a specific topic what we created. It was always a free draw. Whatever on your mind, let's just go with that. She's like, I did it. And I sent Jill and Mark and Paul all the pictures. We'd go in there. And it was just wonderful, you know. It was just wonderful to just have to be able to spend those days and times with her. And I was with her 3 days a week, sometimes 5. It is all depended. But I really grew to love her as my own grandmother, you know, and she was so loving, and she was so caring, and I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her very much, and I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to work with her. And Teresa, again, thank you, because had it not been for you, I wouldn't have never had the opportunity to work with her. Thank you all.
I had the honor to meet Marcy 24 years ago when I started here in Cleveland at B'nai Yeshurun. I met her at Ozzy's bedside at Montefiore, and from that first moment I could tell that she was truly one of a kind, remarkable, devoted, charming, and generous, that it was never about herself. Someone described her as magic, the nicest person you could ever meet. Honest to the core, with a strong moral compass, she knew right from wrong and passed that moral compass down onto her children. She never met a stranger. She had an innate sense to connect with everyone that she met, and immediately you loved her. Selfless, it was never about her, and yet she was the matriarch of this family in her sweet, quiet way. Like her pastels, she made sure her children, grandchildren, all she touched had beauty in their lives. That quiet inner strength that I think Bruce shared. She was able to run a tight ship at home raising her 3 children on those cross-country car rides in the Pontiac station wagon where she'd use the umbrella or snow brush to referee from the front seat. And she called upon that inner strength following Ozzy's death and in these last few years as her health declined. Born in Akron, attending Flora Stone Mather College of Western Reserve, studying art education. There at college, she was fixed up with her Ozzy. The story goes that a friend, a frat brother at Case Western, was in on the match, telling him about this Jewish cheerleader, a freshman in college, while Ozzy was 10 years older. Ozzy went to check her out, to see her cheer. He was definitely cheered up. Well, not a surprise, Marcy caught his eye, and he caught hers too. Ozzy would call her dorm payphone, the only one phone in the building, and whoever picked it up would yell for Marcy, saying, "The old man is calling you." They made arrangements for a date, but it couldn't be on precious prime Saturday night. Ozzy had already lined up several other dates, weeks and weeks and weeks in advance with other women. A man of honor, he wouldn't cancel them. He kept those dates, but he'd go out with Marcy on Wednesday. At first, Marcy was feeling him out. She even forgot his name once, and when he came to pick her up at the dorm, she sent out a girlfriend to greet him in order to get his name again. They did hit it off. Marcy was upgraded to Saturday night dates. And as we say, the rest is history. An incredible couple, partners in everything, supportive, loving, traveling the world together, always mixing business with pleasure. Their loving partnership spanned nearly 5 decades. She loved her Ozzy so much as an amazing, supportive wife and partner. The best mother who made you feel like you could do anything, always a safe space where you could call and tell her anything. She listened, was supportive, and offered the best counsel. She was the ultimate grandmother, nanny. All the grandchildren adored her and loved her. They were all special in her eyes. No favorites, you each were her favorite. A present grandmother that when you'd visit, she'd yell out your name and then sit with you, making sure you caught her up on everything about you. She had a superpower to cheer you up. A super fun grandmother who always had toys out for you, always had snacks at the ready, who included you in everything, always up for an adventure with you. Each of the grandchildren have special memories of Pop-Pop and Nanny, and I'll share just a few. Mallory has become recently engaged. You were able to show your ring to Nanny, and at that moment her eyes lit up like nothing before. She came to life, so excited for you. Lindsay would call Nanny on her walks, and always in the call feeling uplifted and inspired. You heard from his father. Milo loved his visits, which always included visits to the art museum and sometimes painting together in the studio. Daniel answered an unintentional FaceTime call, what we call a butt dial, from Nanny while he was at a college frat party. Instead of hanging up, not answering, or just saying, "I can't talk now," he answered the FaceTime video and passed the phone around to everyone at the frat party, and all the frat brothers and everybody there fell in love with your grandmother, saying she never had an old spirit, youthful till the end. Alexa shared how amazing Nanny was, how you named her as the oldest grandchild. She actually wanted to be called Grammy, but you, the oldest, couldn't say it. You said Nanny, and it was history. And you, Alexa, gave her Maddie, her great-granddaughter, and how Marcy held her, how she lit up with so much joy. Marcy obtained her real estate license in the 70s, where her natural eye for property and genuine way with people made her a success. She had a real estate niche. Sweet little Marcy became known as the RV Queen of Ohio. That's what her newspaper real estate ads would claim. She specialized in selling real estate in mobile home parks, RV parks, and farmland. We at B'nai Yeshurun are honored that Marcy's paintings grace the walls of our Schindler Minion Breakfast Room, the room dedicated by Marcy and Ozzy. She loved the art museum, botanical gardens, loved to see flowers, and she played violin. B'nai Yeshurun was a special place for Marcy and Ozzy. Ozzy served as a past president, our highest leadership honor, very focused on education, and that's why Ozzy and Marcy established the Schindler Education Endowment at our congregation. They left an incredible legacy of passionate leadership and volunteerism and commitment to our congregation. Marcy lived life the right way. She followed the golden rule. Each day she was kind, generous, and dedicated. She created happiness and beauty for all that she touched. As we say at our Passover table, Dayenu, it was enough. Marcy, Dayenu, we know that you are now at peace. You've given each of us more than enough. We pray that you rejoin Ozzy, your sister Joan, your parents, and all who loved you. May your name always bring blessings, and we say, Amen. We'll rise now as our cantor will chant the memorial prayer.
Elo slichot, chanun verachum erechapayim verav chesed, hamseich aparat pesha ve'akravat yesha unucha nechona tachat kanfei ashchina b'malot kedoshim utarim kezar harakia mazhirin et nishmat Mendel Chana bat Binyamin verachel shelcha leolama ana balai rachamim zachar la letova kol zechuyoteha vetzidkoteha ve'artzon hachayim uftach la sharei tzedek ve'ora sharei chemla v'chanina V'seiter k'nafecha hasireha le'olamim u'tzorah b'tzorah chayim et nishmata Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Amen.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of our beloved Mindel Chana, Marcia Schindler, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. In her last days, as her health declined, I know that because Teresa kept us up to date always, and notifying the congregation and all of us so that Rabbi Jacobs, Cantor Rosenbaum, and I could be by her side as much as we can, and for her to also give us that woo-hoo. We got it too, don't worry. And her smile and her love. She was always there. Marcy loved each and every one of you. And whether you were in Cleveland, where we were blessed to be able to see her so often, unfortunately oftentimes in the hospital, or whether you were wherever you are across the world, she loved you. You spoke to her all the time. She knew how much you loved you. And Nicole had something very special happen to her just before Marcy left this world. She had an infestation of ladybugs in her room. If you know, Marcy loved ladybugs. They were so beautiful to her. They were so meaningful for her. And perhaps by chance, but I don't believe in chance, we say the word bashertz, meant to be, that Marcy visited Nicole in that way to say goodbye. Just that each one of you have said goodbye in your different visits and your different ways, so that you can always have her in your hearts. So whether it's Nicole or each and every one of you, when you see a ladybug, when you look upon the paintings that she created and either gifted to you already or you'll take on your way back home across this country and to your own homes, Marcy will be always there, sharing beauty, flying like that ladybug, lifting you up. May her name always bring blessings, and we say, Amen. Following our service, those of us that are following the burial will continue at Beit Olam Cemetery in Beechwood. And as we said, the family will receive friends and family immediately afterwards at the Ashton and Mayfield Heights, 6200 Lander Haven Drive in Mayfield. And our celebration of life will begin at 2 p.m. Those who'd like to contribute in Marcy's honor can do so to the American Heart Association.
See pallbearers come forward, please. As we approach the door, you're going to see the coach on the left side. Then to follow, back to your cars. Going to the summit here, pass up to your cars. Put on your headlights and your hazard. Otherwise, thank you for your attention. Hey, Jay. Bart, how are you? Not too good.